Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2022 induction ceremony of the Philippine Dermatological Society. May I ask everyone to please stand for the processional. The 2022 Philippine Dermatological Society Diplomates. 2022 Philippine Dermatological Society Fellows. 2022 Philippine Dermatological Society Life Members. The chairs and training officers of Philippine Dermatological Society's training institutions. East Avenue Medical Center. Jose R. Reyes Memorial Medical Center. Makati Medical Center. Hospital ng Maynila Medical Center. Region 1 Medical Center. Research Institute for Tropical Medicine. Rizal Medical Center. Skin and Cancer Foundation Incorporated. St. Luke's Medical Center. Southern Philippines Medical Center. University of the East Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Medical Center. University of the Philippines Philippine General Hospital. University of Santo Tomas Hospital. The Philippine Dermatological Society's Board of Examiners for 2021-2022. Dr. Maria Angela T. Pumagon, Chair, and Dr. Nia Angela C. Versosa, Co-Chair. Members: Dr. Rogelio A. Balaga, Dr. Julie W. Pabico, Dr. Karen L. Alabado, Dr. Maria Cristina Filomena R. Bata, Dr. Tanya Angela Perez Chua. The Chair of the Membership Committee, Dr. Katrina Carmela Marie M. Belen. The Advisory Council, Dr. Maria Teresita Gabriel. Dr. Vermen M. Veralia Rolo. The 2021-2022 Board Members: Dr. Christine Pearl F. Arandia, Dr. Blossom Tian Chan, Dr. Crisinda Claire Dim Hamora, Dr. Lonabel A. Encarnacion, Dr. Nancy Garcia Tan, Dr. Cecilia Rojas Rosete, Dr. Arnold C. Yu, Immediate Past President, Dr. Purita Paz Lau, Treasurer, Dr. Mary Germaine G. Castillo, Secretary, Dr. Roberto Antonio Pascual, Vice President, Dr. Noemi Salta Ramos. Our guests of honor: Dr. Diana A. Payawal, President, Philippine College of Physicians, and Dr. Maria Minerva Patawaran Kalima, President, Philippine Medical Association, with Dr. Francisco D. Rivera IV, President, Philippine Dermatological Society.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome our Master of Ceremonies for this evening, Dr. Francesca C. Alvarado.
Good evening, colleagues and friends. Welcome to the 2022 induction ceremonies of the Philippine Dermatological Society. Tonight, we gather to celebrate our first hybrid induction as we gradually shift to a better normal. Despite the fact that we are still dealing with the threat of COVID-19 and now the monkeypox outbreak, we are all still here today to celebrate such a momentous event and a great blessing to our beloved society. For those joining us physically, we are delighted to see everyone's bright and lovely faces. Don't you all miss dressing up for occasions like this, finally getting together with your colleagues in person? For those attending virtually, we can't wait to see your charming faces in person very soon. We begin this evening with an invocation and the singing of the Philippine National Anthem, to be followed by the Philippine Medical Association and Philippine College of Physicians hymns. The invocation will be led by one of the PDS Board Directors and Head of the Council on Human Resources, Dr. Christine Pearl F. Arandia, while the national anthem will be rendered by one of our members, Dr. Jerlene Maureen P. Servas. May we request everyone to please rise.
Okay, good evening. Let us put ourselves in the presence of our Lord. We ask guidance from up above as we induct our diplomates and fellows, that they will embody the ideals of excellence and integrity as envisioned by our society. May our inductees practice with ethics and honesty as they spread their wings. May they be the future and rock of our society as we navigate these trying times of misinformation and half-truths. This we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Bayang magiliw, pelas na silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw. May dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhatit pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya ng pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
tigib ng kasayahan, dahil ako'y nasama sa tanan. Ang lahat may gintong nasa, makisig at masigla. Kapisanan ay tunay ang damdamin, suliranin itong baya'y pawiin. Idalangin natin ang tapat sa may kapal, ay lunas sa lahat. Awit ng DNA, tayo ay mag-iwan, magtulungan, magunlad ng bayan. Ang kailangan, ibigay sa kanan, kalusugan at kasaganaan. Ang puso ko'y tigib ng kasayahan, dahil ako'y nasama sa tanan. Ang lahat may gintong nasa, makisig at masigla. Kapisanan ay tunay ang damdamin, suliranin itong baya'y pawiin. Idalangin natin ang tapat sa may kapal, may lunas sa lahat. Idalangin natin ang tapat sa may kapal, may lunas sa lahat. Through the dreadful darkness, we shall be the light and lead a path to wisdom. Our will to be our light. To those in pain and suffering, we shall hear a call. With arms to care and comfort, compassion above all, to face a brighter future, bound in unity. The Philippine College of Physicians, we shall be, hand in hand building a stronger nation. This
It is such a great pleasure to hear and sing the Philippine National Anthem live. Please take your seats, everyone. To formally open this year's induction ceremonies, we call on the President of the Philippine Dermatological Society, Dr. Francisco D. Rivera IV.
Good evening to all of you. At last, the first face-to-face activity of PDS. Thank you to all of you and welcome. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our guest, Dr. Diana Payawal, Dr. Kalimag, Minerva Kalimag, okay, and our inspirational speaker, Dr. Vermen Veralio Roel, the PDS Board of Directors, Board of Examiners, all institution chair, training officers and mentors, and our diplomates and fellows, parents and your loved ones. I remember the time after graduating medical school and passing the physician licensure exam, when I ask myself, what will I do next? Should I start to practice medicine or go to residency? For some, it is very clear that they want dermatology as specialization. But for someone like me, it took several days of prayers on what path to take. I prayed if dermatology is really my calling, and now here I am. We all are called to become a dermatologist for one purpose, which is to serve our Lord's people. I'm sure all of you will agree to me that residency life is not that easy. What more if you had it during this time of pandemic with so many challenges, which make an impact to our individuality, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It also have an impact on how we do things in our daily residency activities. We become very creative on how we can continue learning and see our patients safely, physically and virtually through telemedicine. We are now entering the third year of this pandemic, and for almost 2 years, our residents learned mostly from their patients virtually. During this time, while facing all these challenges of COVID-19, the Department of Health have tasked PDS, DOH institutions to create a stratified framework of dermatological centers and clinics all over the country. The goal is for every region, there must be an advanced dermatological centers as an apex hospital and basic dermatology centers and clinic down the network. This is our answer to universal health care. I would like to inform our diplomates that this is a great opportunity for all of you. Our new diplomates and fellows, start aligning your practice as part of this dermatology service delivery network. Strongly consider being part of any regional hospitals across the country. If you decide so, you will make an impact to the lives of millions of Filipinos awaiting to be seen by a specialist. Serve them well, for you are called to serve. Be excellent, for you are called to provide the best quality of dermatological care to our patients. I encourage and summon all of you to go and live a life worthy of what PDS stands for. We are board-certified dermatologists, the derm authorities in our field, and therefore we should all exemplify excellence coupled with servant leadership, integrity, faith, and excellence in the workplace and in the community. I would like to acknowledge all our mentors who are so generous in guiding you and diligently look for ways on how our training programs can cope with the adversity that we faced. I want to encourage all institutions and mentors to work together in raising this generation of residents according to the standards of excellence that we, PDS, always have. To the parents and families of our graduates, I know the fear you have whenever our residents goes to the hospital and sees our patient. Fear of possibly getting COVID-19 is a reality in all households. Your support and encouragement gave them strength and wisdom during this journey of residency training and pursue their calling. Now, I would like to present to you our graduates who are now full-fledged and board-certified dermatologists. I would like to enjoin everyone, let us give the glory to our Lord for the strength and wisdom and courage that He gave to everyone to overcome the challenges of this time. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at mabuhay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rivera. The Philippine Dermatological Society holds the distinction of being the one and only specialty society for dermatology recognized by the Philippine College of Physicians and the Philippine Medical Association. Once again, we are privileged to have tonight the presidents of both the PCP and PMA as our guests of honor. Let us all welcome the President of the Philippine Medical Association, Dr. Minerva P. Kalima.
Ang puso ko'y tigib ng kasiyahan dahil ako ay nasama sa tanan. O diba, dapat ganyan po kinakanta ang Philippine Medical Association hymn. Dahil masaya, so dapat ay masaya din ang ating face, no? Warmest greetings to all our dear PMA members at the Philippine Dermatological Society. With this message, allow me to thank all PMA members at the PDS for the collective leadership among those who stood up with conviction to heal our nation during its hardest and most trying times. Tunay na mga bayaning Pilipinong manggagamot na may katangi-tanging adhikain. Our advocacies remain, and together we share a positive outlook for the Philippine Medical Association, for our profession, our physician peers, our patients, and our planet. I would like to commend all PDS members who are leading at the component societies. The PMA consists of 91,030 physicians in 119 component societies, 8 specialty divisions, 75 specialty and subspecialty societies, and 45 affiliate societies. And the PMA is one of 115 national medical associations comprising the World Medical Association. Again, I would like to commend the Philippine Dermatological Society for making sure that all PDS members are active PMA members. Sabi ko nga, hindi ko maunahan yung aking mga daughters-in-law sa pagbabayad ng PMA dues, no? Dahil lagi silang on time. So we live in interesting times. It is a VUCA world that we are faced with. The COVID-19 pandemic we face plunges into volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Now more than ever, we realize that we belong to a global community of health professionals, and what we do and do not do at the PMA impacts the community of healthcare practice worldwide. For the last 2.5 years, we have been battling the unknown enemy, COVID-19, with so many unknowns and uncertainties about its profile, its progression, and prognosis. And in fact, when we were immersed in the experience, we never really know when it is going to end. Diba? Yet with our concerted effort at the different components, specialty and affiliate societies, we work with local governments and the Department of Health to make our vaccination efforts successful. For now, we have at least 77% of our target population having been vaccinated. So, also, as the physicians in the practice of dermatology, PDS is an enviable position to integrate primary care into dermatological health, ensuring the effective, fair, and acceptable management of individuals with ill health and the appropriate rehabilitation of individuals in the care of the skin. As we face emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases and lifestyle diseases brought about by bad habits, let us remember that we need to improve our patients' health literacy. This is one of our advocacies now, improving the health literacy, starting with elementary. No, our students Our curriculum in elementary is MAPE, Music, Arts, PE, and Health. Health being just 1 hour every week, no? So we are moving towards actually asking, no, the Department of Health to increase the number of hours for health, especially now, no, that we are mostly immersed in many mental health issues. As we face emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases and lifestyle diseases brought about by bad habits, let us remember that we need to improve our patients' health literacy, especially also among the minorities. We have launched KKK. Ito ba'y isang revolusyon? Para sa pagpapalaganap ng karunungang pangkalusugan, kultura, komunikasyon, at katutubong wika, no? For our indigenous people, no, using our indigenous language. There are actually 185 indigenous tribes in the Philippines and 192 to 198 Philippine-based languages. No? So you could just imagine. Let us teach them also to be critical of the information they receive and disseminate on social media. We should also inoculate them so they will be ready to fight the infodemic that accompanies the pandemic. Allow me to inform the society that the bills on specialty care is up for deliberation on Tuesday, October 11, 2022. And so if you have any concerns regarding dermatology, perhaps we can put that on the table. So it's October 11, Tuesday. So let us all strive to measure up to expectations, leading with conviction, putting the best of our personal capabilities and the fullest measure of our dedication to the service of our organization. We'll actively recruit new members to rejuvenate the PMA. We will work together to address the association's deepest problems, one person at a time, by encouraging and empowering the good hearts and good works of each and every member. Allow me also to inform everybody that for those members of the PMA who have arrears, although I don't think we have a problem with PDS, no? Where the PMA is giving a 50% discount on all dues from 2019 downwards. This is to enable many of our members to actually engage in the Consulta package for the universal health care, because PhilHealth is actually asking for active PMA membership in this area. So though our challenges are fearsome, so are our strengths. We must bring to task today the vision and will of those who came before us. Let us always remember that we are one PMA for a healthy Pilipinas. Nagkakaisang PMA para sa kalusugan ng sambayanan. Mabuhay ang PMA at mabuhay ang Philippine Dermatological Society. Ito po ang inyong Pangulo, Maria Minerva P. Kalimag, nagpupugay at bumabati ng isang magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kalimag. To further make this night a memorable one for our inductees, we have another special message, this time from the President of the Philippine College of Physicians. We are so honored to have her with us here tonight. Let us all welcome Dr. Diana A. Payawal.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening to the Philippine Dermatological Society of the Philippines, the newly inducted diplomates, respected colleagues, of course, the President of PMA, and guests. Thank you for inviting me to be your guest in your induction ceremonies with the theme, Reconnaissance, Controversies, Dialogues in Dermatology. Congratulations, of course, to your graduates, and of course the recently concluded 25th Annual Congress led by Dr. Maria Teresita G. Gabriel and the President of the Philippine Dermatological Society, Dr. Francisco D. Rivera IV. Despite the challenges of the pandemic we are all still facing today, you are still moving forward with your aim to improve scientific knowledge among your members and other healthcare workers. Your theme emphasizes reconnaissance in medicine, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance is a rubric used initially by the military to describe all activities associated with collecting, integrating, analyzing, disseminating, and exploiting. However, it seems like it has extended matters beyond the military as it traverses the line of medicine and is now among the controversies in dermatology. Reconnaissance diversifies its open source intelligence and places like the internet and huddles. These tools settle inconsistency until you reach a dialogue or a negotiation. Dermatology, a specialty across all specialties, epitomizes this task where the skin is a window of medical illness through which many diagnoses emanate. A great task of collaboration with other specialties while maintaining your individuality in perspective. This vision speaks of your values. I start with the premise that it's better to have a goal in life and to lead your life by a set of principles, values, or morals which your leaders have shown. Imagine if you were in a hospital somewhere and you're going to die, and one of your loved ones would say, "Have you any accomplishment? Did you accomplish what you set out to accomplish in your life?" What would be your answer, you young diplomates? Would you even have an answer? Have you ever thought about it, starting your specialty right now? As a professional person, I can assure you that you will have a full schedule and a choice. Either you control your schedule or you allow your schedule to control you. You need to have a goal in life that you set with yourself and your loved ones, and then make sure your schedule follows this goal. This will be better than meandering through life, going from one activity to activity, not even sure where you're going to set and where you want to go. Understand how you've been socialized, because the socialization makes you unique. And then understand how our socialization has led to a belief. Being a leader of 4 big organizations, from hepatology, gastroenterology, and now Philippine College of Physicians, and even the Asian Pacific study of the liver. I used to remember when I would sit in a meeting and being the only woman in that meeting, and the president would give me a necktie as a gift. And I said, "Oh, this is something." So, which would I say actually was not easy? If I had stayed within the confines of my practice, I wouldn't be standing here giving you an inspirational talk. So obviously, things have to change. The one thing you can count on in things that will change is that you're heading in a world where your medical practice must prove or improve your productivity if you want to be successful. COVID has indeed changed our perspective and are lots of reason for globalization. The acquisition of new responsibility, the global scale, and new technology. The ability to learn differentiates this of those who succeed in an ever-changing world. As you attend your residency, you learn all kinds of new things. But the important thing that you learn is how to learn. Because this how is what you will do for the rest of your life. And I can guarantee you that the future will be different from a perspective of value-based leadership. And the speed of change in the future is increasing. Competitive, as you know in dermatology, flat, fast-paced world you're really entering. I advise that you develop a value system that keeps you grounded in this ever-changing world. In the book Built to Last and Good to Great, Jim Collins wrote that great companies change everything except their values. You have to be willing to change everything, because if you don't, you won't grow personally and you won't grow your practice. When I finished medicine, I merely wanted to take residency and probably speak like my boss, Dr. Sol Alvarez, who's a gastroenterology, in a conference. It was good enough to be practicing among gastroenterologist colleagues. But today, as I speak in global perspective, you have to be an effective leader in cultures outside your own. You have to train people beyond practice. With the looming Universal Health Law and the Physicians Act, proliferate your specialty, train more dermatologists, go beyond your practice, but do not forget your purpose and values. Our purpose as doctors is to improve the lives of families and our patients. That's why we come to work every day. And that keeps you excited of your job. But as I am fortunate to be given the task to train ever since I came back, I see from two perspectives training, and that is leadership and ownership. We expect every resident under us to be a leader and act like a company owner. That's a real accomplishment for me because it inspires our colleagues. I stress integrity. We don't lie, we don't cheat, and we don't steal, and we don't tolerate people who do that. That's a significant value for me. A lot of controversies and challenges mark your specialty in dermatology, with well-known individuals who use the media to increase beauty in the guise of your specialty. Each graduate in residency becomes a leader in her endeavor to challenge you to have a passion for winning against these misconceptions. Our goal on the job every day is to win against diseases and protect the integrity of our specialty. We recognize to sustain ourselves, we must continue to deliver outstanding results. Still, we also have to take care of our environment and the people and the communities where we operate now, and for generations to come. So we have developed strategies to significantly improve the footprint of our physical operations across the community. In my experience, the best leader operate for a clear purpose, a consistent principle or values, like working for leaders who are transparent about what's going to be important for them. Living a life driven by purpose is more meaningful and rewarding than meandering through life without direction. You guys are very young. I have, in me, my life purpose is to improve lives, And I guess you as doctors should have the same. But this operates in many levels. We all work to improve our lives. People like to work for leaders who operate with a clear and consistent purpose. And you, as the incoming leader in the future, your job is to understand and enable your colleagues and their organization's purpose and dreams. Do not forget your Philippine Dermatological Society and serve it without any financial remuneration. In this sense, the leaders take a task that becomes a calling, a profession, and it's not a job, in which we as doctors partake. We all want to succeed, and success is always contagious. People like to be part of a winning team. Make the Philippine Dermatological Society the winning team. So what we have to do as leaders is to create this theme. We challenge you to teach your trainees to succeed, then take success and build it into self-confidence. Do not forget to train people. Since success is contagious, one success will always lead to another. And one successful person will always influence others to be successful. So your job as young leaders is to start the fire that fuels the virtuous cycle of success. Putting people in the right job is one of your tasks. I define character as putting the needs of the organization, your Philippine Dermatological Society, above your own. Jim Collins calls this level 5 leadership, whose ambition for the organization and is not for themselves. If something goes wrong, take responsibility. Innovation results from connections and collaborate. Collaborate with each other. James Burke, a science historian and another producer of connections, documented that innovation often comes from connecting two seemingly disconnected ideas. Diversity is what you call them. So a diverse group is better to make these connections since they have a greater diversity of modes to connect. The role of your leader is to create an environment for connections and collaborations. Leader of the most diverse team follow the platinum rule. Treat others as they want to be treated. Leaders should know that people they work with well enough know how to be treated, and ineffective systems and cultures are bigger barriers to achievement than people's talent. If you're the leader of this organization and something goes wrong, before blaming other people, look and see if you have provided the right leadership. It is a terrific metaphor for what we as leaders do to people in our organizations. We put everything in a system. Look at all of us. We are all in a system. We give them strategies. We try to lead. We expect everyone to deliver great results. But organizations are perfectly designed to get results that they get and they want. So if you get bad results, redesign your organization. If others make your organization look back, put your foot forward and say, that is not right. If you get good results, keep it going. Some people in the organizations will not make it on the journey. Not everybody becomes a leader. The leader's job is to identify those who cannot go on to the journey, help them recognize the tension, and help them identify other careers and offer great promise. Train and train other people. You notice I mentioned training because I feel that we need to build our specialty. The Philippine Dermatological Society is an affiliate of the Philippine College of Physicians. So I urge you to fly high and grow beyond us. You should be a specialty beyond the Philippine College of Physicians. Any growing organization, as with you, must renew itself. Growth, by definition, requires change. Change requires renewal. In today's ever-changing world, the standard of performance are acceptable today, but will be unacceptable tomorrow. If the organization is growing and improving, as such, the leader must provide training again and develop opportunities for individuals in the organization to grow. Renewal is significant in a build from within. So in other words, the true test of a leader is the organization's performance when the leader is absent or when he has departed. So have you built this organization capabilities so well that you were not there, the organization continues to function, grow, and succeed? Or have you built this organization that depends on you until you are there? While it's counterintuitive thought for leaders, you want to build an organization that is capable with the leader's presence or absence would not significantly affect the results. This is how you sustain growth in your organization. This pandemic had imposed modifications in our practice and in our lives. Yet it has made us more determined and resilient to face challenges and upheavals. As you embark in this new journey as diplomates and probably as fellows in the future, one thing is certain. Philippine College of Physicians will move with you as you move together and a fresh start, and always being mindful of the covenant we have let you. So let me congratulate, of course, our graduates and, of course, the leaders of this organization. The outgoing president, Dr. Maria Purita G. Paslao, and of course, the incoming president. Actually, the past president, I would like to congratulate her because she has led the team during the pandemic. And of course, the incoming president, Dr. Francisco D. Rivera IV. So, Philippine Dermatological Society, with your new members, fly high. And we will be there as your mentors and support you in all your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you for your message, Dr. Payawal. We are grateful to our esteemed guests, Dr. Kalimag and Dr. Payawal, for gracing this important occasion with their presence. May we call the President and the rest of the PDS officers and Board of Directors to come up the stage for the presentation of the Certificate of Appreciation and Token for our guests of honor tonight. may we ask our president, our guests of honor, and our officers and board of directors for a photo op. And now we have a photo with the certificates. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, another round of applause for our guests of honor, our president, our PDS officers, and board of directors. Thank you very much. Okay, now it has been a tradition to have a distinguished member of our society render words of inspiration to our inductees. To introduce tonight's inspirational speaker, we have the training officer of the Skin and Cancer Foundation Incorporated and the head of the PDS Volunteer Management Committee, Dr. Maria Jasmine J. Hamora. A round of applause.
Thank you. I have the honor today to introduce one of the pillars of Philippine dermatology, the chairman of the Skin and Cancer Foundation, and my mentor, Dr. Vermin M. Veralia Rowell. MD, FPDS, FAAD, FASDP, and FADA. That's how many letters she has, and she has a huge CV. We'll try to boil it down, okay? So Dr. Veralia Rowell graduated from the University of the Philippines College of Medicine in 1962 and continued to do internships in UPPGH and Uniontown Hospital in Pennsylvania. She is licensed in the Philippines and in 3 states in the USA. She completed her residency in dermatology at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation and passed the American Board of Dermatology and the Philippine Board of Dermatology. She underwent dermatopathology fellowship at Wayne State University under Dr. Herman Pincus, then a visiting fellowship with Dr. Bernie Ackerman, after which she passed the American Board of Dermatopathology. As a clinical dermatologist, Dr. Veralia Rowell remains one of the best and the most sought-after clinicians in our country. She is brilliant and peerless in her clinical eye. I learned a lot from her out-of-the-box treatment of complex and challenging clinical cases. Personally, I am glad that she is there for me to refer very difficult patients to. She can charm even the most cranky and demanding patients. She has a 360-degree view of a patient and is one of the most holistic and integrative dermatologists that I know, having practiced treating the whole patient ever since I've known her. She was given the Perpetual Gutierrez Awardee as the top dermatologist of the Philippine Dermatological Society in 2002 at the 50th anniversary of the PDS, and in that same year, she was awarded Top Dermatologist of the Philippines by the Philippine Medical Association at its annual convention. As a dermatopathologist, she is my idol and an inspiration for loving dermatopathology. In 2012, she was the chair of the Dermpath Subspecialty Interest Group of the PDS and also established MMC's Dermatopathology Fellowship Program. She saw the realization of her dream for Philippine dermatopathology as the Dermatopathology Society of the Philippines of the PDS was created 2 years ago and continues to flourish. As an author, Dr. Veralia Rowell has written book chapters on photoprotection, photodermatoses, sunscreens, and published Skin in the Tropics, Sunscreens and Hyperpigmentations in 2002, where it was awarded the Gintong Aklat Award from the Book Development Association of the Philippines. Her second book, RX Coconuts, The Perfect Health Nut, was published in 2011. She is advancing research on coconut oil onto the global stage. Starting in 1998, her studies on the coconut were the very first dermatological studies done on virgin coconut oil and its monoglycerides for its antimicrobial and emollient properties. Her studies have won the Alexander Fisher Award at the 2013 American Contact Dermatitis Society meeting, and she has presented her papers at the International Coconut Meetings in New Delhi and in Bangkok, focusing on the anti-inflammatory effects of coconut oil. She is cited worldwide. I just came from a meeting and they were citing her papers all over the place about coconut oil for atopic dermatitis and psoriasis. Dr. Veralia Rowell continues to study Filipino herbals, including organic amaranth, turmeric, white ginger, sweet potatoes, squash, ube, and some of the herbs used in our traditional medicine for dermatologic use. As a researcher, Dr. Veralia Rowell has dozens of abstracts, posters, published journal articles in peer-reviewed journals on cosmetics, contact dermatitis, phototherapy and photoprotection, safety and efficacy studies, and comedogenicity. She is a journal peer reviewer for journals like the Archives of Dermatology, Dermatitis, the Journal of Ethnopharmacology, and in 1987, with my mom, Dr. Jacinto, she co-founded the Philippine Journal of Dermatology and Surgery. Starting in 1978, Dr. Veralia Rowell established Original Skin, which then morphed into the VMV Skin Research Center and Clinics, and the Center for Skin Research Testing and Product Development. Here, she has a diverse team of researchers, including dermatologists, fellows, nurses, pharmacists, nutritionists, and even a physicist, who do safety and efficacy studies on cosmeceuticals and sunscreens for VMV hypoallergenics and other local and international pharmaceutical companies in both Phase 2B and Phase 3 clinical trials. In 1999, the center was approved by the Philippine FDA as a cosmetic clinical research testing center, and since 2010, its institutional review board is Philippine Health Research Ethics Board approved. The SEF residents are lucky because they are able to be mentored on protocol making, IRB approval, data gathering, analysis, to writing and submission of a finished manuscript for presentation abroad and journal publication. As a pioneer in Philippine dermatology, Dr. Veralia Rowell has shown nationalism and incredible love of country by serving the PDS. She has been a diplomate and fellow since 1977 and served as the chair of the research committee, the photomedicine group, dermatopathology subspecialty core group, and the task force of psoriasis. She also helped facilitate the merger of the two dermatological societies in 2002 to 2005. She helped amend the original constitution and bylaws of the PDS to define the requirements for educational programs and of the residency programs. Dr. Veralia Rowell was one of the first members and chair of the dermatology board examiners of the PDS. She has served as PDS board director, secretary, treasurer, vice president, and then was the PDS president from 1981 to 1984. She was a member of the PDS Ethics Committee and is currently a member of the PDS Advisory Council, and she also advises the photomedicine and contact dermatitis groups of the PDS. As an academician, Dr. Veralia Rowell, along with Dr. Sylvia Jacinto, Dr. Judy Cuaso, and Dr. Manuel Fernandez Jr., in 1982 founded the Skin and Cancer Foundation, one of the earliest accredited dermatology residency training programs of the PDS. Since 2010, she has served as the chairman of SEF's program. She has been instrumental in launching not only mine, but the careers of many of our SEF graduates. SEF's vision has always been to train well-trained dermatologists for practice in underserved areas. Since its inception, SEF has a majority of its over 200 PDS diplomates practicing in all areas of the Philippines, from far north in Tuguegarao and Ilocos Norte to the deep south in Pagadian, Zamboanga, and Sultan Kudarat. Dr. Veralia Rowell is also an icon at Makati Medical Center Dermatology, having served as the chairman from 2001 to 2005 and serving from 1988 to 2001 as the executive officer and program director of the Makati Med Dermatology Residency Training Program. She also founded the Manuel C. Fernandez Phototherapy and Laser Center in 2001 and the section of dermatopathology. She remains an active consultant and member of the advisory council. She is the founding president of the Makati Med MSA Diamond Club since 2013, honoring older consultants providing cultural events as part of the Department of Ethics and Culture. She also helped found the Manuel C. Fernandez Senior Foundation, which is the charity arm of the Makati Med Department of Dermatology. Since 2013, Dr. Veralia Rowell serves as adjunct research professor at the Institute of Herbal Medicine and heads the Skin Study Group at the National Institute of Health, University of the Philippines. As a global dermatologist, she is an active member of the AAD, American Academy of Dermpath, International Society of Dermatology, the Photomedicine Society, American Association for Women in Dermatology, American Contact Dermatitis Society, the Hong Kong Association for Dermatology, and the Asian Dermatological Association. She is a great advocate for psoriasis patients, serving as council member for the International Psoriasis Council and also locally for Psoriasis Philippines. In 2011, Dr. Veralia Rowell was elected International Honorary Member of the American Dermatological Association, the oldest and the most prestigious U.S. dermatological society, and she was inducted as the first Filipino dermatologist and only one of 3 Asians who are members at the ADA. As an advocate and community dermatologist, Dr. Veralia Rowell has a 100-acre USDA-certified organic farm in Leyte with a multi-awarded farmers cooperative where organic, medical-grade, cold-pressed virgin coconut oil is made. They established a nationally awarded cooperative called Savimco. They launched a TESDA-approved Philippine Educational Authority family farm school that enrolls elementary graduates unable to go on to high school. This farm is considered a model for organic farming according to the Philippine Department of Agriculture. She assisted 48 farming families after Typhoon Yolanda struck that area and continues to assist and rehabilitate the area. With her batchmates in UPCM 62, they also did a yearly medical mission serving Manobo tribes in Bukidnon until 2009. SCF and VSRC continue to do medical missions, giving out free medications to charity patients, both in outpatients and mission settings. She also holds a yearly specialty medical mission in Bogo, Cebu, every January for the Mendoza Veralia Ibanez Sinulog Fiesta. Finally, as a mentor, Dr. Veralia Rowell, or Tita Verm as I call her, I don't know if you can call her that, but that's what I call her. She is generous with her time and sincerely seeks the success of her mentees. She has pushed me to be better than I was and sees the potential in all the people she coaches and encourages. At 83 years old, she remains more active and hardworking than me or anyone I know. She sleeps late writing papers and doing administrative work, and she wakes up at 4 a.m. to do daily exercise training. She is a true Renaissance woman and someone we should all seek to emulate. She does not take her success for granted, and with grit, determination, passion for dermatology and research, and generosity of heart and spirit, adventurousness and curiosity, she remains at the top of her game. Let us all learn from her as she imparts to us. Let's welcome Dr. Vermin Veralia Rowell.
Who was she talking about? Hasmin? Okay, here I am. The click is here. Okay. Good evening to everybody. Dr. Hasmin, my beloved young lady, thank you for the introduction. It's a bit long. I didn't, I'm 83 though, that's my excuse, okay? So, our honorable PDS officers, thank you for giving me this honor. So, honorable life fellows, newly inducted fellows, and diplomates, how do I inspire you to be the best version of yourself always? Let's see what we can inspire, if we can inspire this young person too. How about be honest all day, every day? Let's see how honest you are with a few questions. For instance, your friend asked you, did you like my gift? And you did not, but you said yes. You partied long, overslept, was late, but you gave another reason. Have you ever exaggerated on how much healthy food you eat? How often you go to the gym and exercise? How many hours of sleep at night you get, or many patients, etc.? Your answers, therefore, if they are yeses, are white lies. Next slide. They are still lies. They may be white. There's a fellow by the name, next click, please. Dan O'Reilly is a double PhD from Duke University and University of North Carolina. He's trying to find out, is it cost-benefit that make people do white lies? So he designed this matrix experiment, a series of experiments,
where in 5 minutes you're supposed to find the pairs that equal 10. And there are a control where to lie is impossible, because right behind where you're writing, there's a proctor. So you just write down your answers and you go there. So a significant number of all the subjects they said made only 20% correct answers. They were given $2 for 50 cents per. Test group to lie possible because they were actually told, write the answers on your question sheet and go to the back and shred the questions, shred the answers, and just go instead now to the proctor and tell the proctor how many answers you made correctly. Very capable of making a lie, right? And they reported that they made 6 of 20. So they added another 12 because the other one only 20%. And when they were told that they could get $1 or $2, so anyway, in the meantime, let me tell you about the rest of the slide. When they were told that if they answered correctly, they would get $1 or more money. They still lie. The number of people who still submitted that they had made 6 instead of 4 correct answers still existed. But when it went up to $10, hindi na. It actually went down. So the results of this, a significant majority lied, but only by just 10 to 15%, which is basically white lies, right? Similar to what we did. But at higher amounts, harder to cheat. And still feel good about it. Next slide. Next click, please. Okay, conclusion, these tests tend to disprove cost-benefit because we always think we lie. How much will it cost me? I will just a little twinge of conscience, but my friend will be happy. That's cost-benefit. And all these tests that they've done don't seem to show cost-benefit as being the reason why people lie. Next slide, please. So there's another test, for instance, where exactly the same as the past slide, but the proctor was visibly blind in one room, and the proctor was visibly not blind in another. And guess what? Even with the fact that there is a not blind, the people still cheated or lied by just 10 to 15%. Next click, please. And here's something that we are more familiar with. The visibly blind proctor became a passenger in a taxi going to the airport and said, turn on the meter. The not blind proctor also rode in another taxi, said, going to the airport. And guess what? At the very end of that trip to the airport, the obviously blind proctor or passenger, next slide please, paid the least, and the cab driver never even turned on the meter. So basically what it means is that when we lie, it's really not because of cost benefit at all that we lie. It's really just a matter of this and that, Okay. Next slide. Now we go to something very interesting. So this is the summary, so we'll just go on to the next slide, please. In other words, it's not cost benefit that we do our white lies, but more from a point of making somebody else happy, we think. The problem, however, is that when we increase our lying, according to their experiments, we actually get to a tipping point at which from there, it's what the heck. So here, you'll probably say, I don't lie that much. But have you cheated in any quiz using answers secretly given to you? Or at a webinar, have you clicked off video, muted, and say, you listened? Next slide. Brought home hospital paper, paper clips, folders, tissue, toilet paper, or copied or download literature and books not supposed to be downloaded without paying. Without patient's permission, have you used the paid extra Botox or filler on another and maybe even charged for it? Have you tweaked the numbers, photos, graphs of your paper to favor your hypothesis? Next. Here's something even more red. Have you given a talk without disclosing that you were using a pharmaceutical company's slides or from a pharmaceutical company accepted gifts, a lunch, a dinner, a flight to and from where you live? Or have you asked a drug company to pay for or give gifts at the opening of your new clinic? Whatever. Next slide. The basic thing is that I have gone beyond my 15%, my 10 to 15%. We all do, somehow. And this is why I'm giving this talk, because I'm 83 and I've been through it all. From over 10 to 15%, you see, it becomes, the cheek becomes like an infection. From personal to group collaboration. And why is that? Because we doctors, our patients look up to us. Their relatives who follow them look up to us. The nurses, the health workers in a hospital or clinic, they look up to us. And when they see me bringing, for instance, paper clips or whatever home from the hospital, they'll say, okay pala yan. So how do we get to lie over 10 to 15%? We rationalize. Except that's not the word Dr. O'Reilly calls it. Next click, please. Because he says that we go through life balancing our ethical norms that we learn from medical school and all of those lectures on doctors' ethics. But let's face it, it's always exciting when there's a cost benefit. How much will it, what do I need to do to lie, and what do I get in return? And they call that fudge factor, which Arlene Abella said, Dr. the Tagalog for that is pwede na yan. It allows us to lie over 10 to 15%, get the benefit of the lie, yet still think of ourselves as marvelous human beings. Next slide. So here are some fudge factor experiments. I thought that was cute. They got subjects that went around walking with a real Prada bag. And the other subjects, they gave fake Prada bags. Not only that, they had Chloe dark glasses, so that they looked smart and sexy and whatever. Guess what? After about a week or two of this, they had them take those same tests, the matrix tests. And the ones who were wearing the fake items lied more than the others who are wearing the real thing. The interpretation is, when you're wearing something genuine, when you're doing something real, it boosts confidence. But when you're giving fake signals, you dress above your station, we dress adult. I went through buying fakes in Guangzhou or wherever the place is in Hong Kong and wearing them way back. Like I told you, I've been through this. Next, please. Relevance to us, using dishonest downloads of references and books, repackaging, selling cheaper, non-FDA certified products made by some pharmacist somewhere. That's fake. Another test, another one that was cute is this, payments by cash or token. This is very applicable, especially during the pandemic, because we have become a cashless society. So what they did was they went to 2 dormitories with, let's call it, medical students. In one dormitory, they placed Coke bottles. In the other, they placed dollar bills. Wala pang 1 week, the Coke bottles were gone. But the dollar bills, they stayed. And the reason for that, according to the O'Reilly thing, is that the Coke has no money value. The dollar bills are like stealing, okay? So they tried this thing on lawyers, and the consultants placed hidden bills because it's not cash, it's easier. And the relevance to us doctors is we just have to become more aware that as our country, as we practice become more cashless, it is easier to add additional bills, especially if you have inpatients. Next, please. So to summarize it all regarding, we're talking now about first the 10 to 15% and how you can go beyond that. These are increasing dishonesties. I've talked to you about the fakes, creativity, depleted from sleep lack, applies to many of us, and especially applies to people working in call centers where there's a lot of HIV, more than the others, and maybe having girlfriends and all that. Let's go down to the conflict of interest. Next click, please. Okay, so to decrease dishonesty, I think this is important. Most important is just pay attention when you tell a white lie. I do now. You know, where before when the phone would ring and the maid was right beside me, the housekeeper was right beside me, I'd probably say, pakisabi lang, umalis, wala na ako rito. That's a lie, right? It's a white lie. Now I'm more aware about it, that I can go up to 10 to 15 and higher if I continue with white lies. No fudging, etc. Next slide. So let me give you, because we're doctors, we're used to having evidence-based studies. From now on, this is no longer Dr. O'Reilly, except for one slide later, evidence-based studies on conflicts of interest. The pharma companies, their interest is to increase profits because they do spend a lot of money to develop pharmaceutical drugs. Our interest, as we said, in our becoming a doctor is patient care. All right? So, this study by Chimonas from Sloan Kettering Memorial Cancer Center in New York, they did a scoping review. And what a scoping review is, a form of review also, where they go through all of those and then they synthesize, make a map of the key concepts, theories, research gaps, types, sources, all of that. Next click. This is the scoping map. And this is the drug industry, that's the healthcare. Over here on the top, those are the things the drug companies do that include things like lobbying in the White House or having to talk with the FDA and of course animal studies, etc. So it's a lot of money that they spend. But then they bring that down and down and down, and these are eventually what are down there, which is healthcare education, guideline development, formulary selection, clinical care and research. This is where we blend, except we must not get from the drug industry that. We, as doctors, get all of those and analyze them so we can therefore present it to our patient and find out what is really best for them and not from the slides given to us by the pharmaceutical company. Here is the last slide from O'Reilly. What he actually did is very naughty, I thought, but nice. He looked at, he and his, next click please. At dinner he hosted in a fancy restaurant. I would like to think it was New York or San Francisco. Nice, flowing drink, champagne. And after eating a lot and drinking a lot, next slide, he was able to get from the marketing company, they shared that drug reps are trained to treat MDs like gods and goddesses. And I tell you, as short as I am, I felt like a goddess sometimes when they come to see me. Attractive reps equipped with doctors' databases. They come, they know all about you already. I know this. Next slide, next click. They befriend our office staff, next slide. This is all part of what they are taught to do. They said they socialize, develop, encourage friendships. This leads, of course, to the MDs or the drug the pharma wants to provide. They even give the doctor the slides to give lectures to their other colleagues. And he was saying, because he's a psychologist, the problem with that is that when a doctor gets the slides from the drug company, cognitive dissonance makes him think that's also from him, okay? And the MDs prescribe procedures of drugs and fudge that the best is for that. So this is what Dr. O'Reilly said. In many cases, the doctors do not realize they are being manipulated to fudge. But no doubt about it, they are all part of the marketing plan. Next slide. Still evidence-based. 2010, not very recent, but the message here is fantastic. What it is that 2 galleries were going to be presenting paintings. Simple. The subjects were just going to say which one they preferred. The one, that gallery, or that painting or that. But here's the trick. The green and the blue are the logos of the 2 galleries. And then at the end of their introduction to the subjects, they said, oh, and by the way, this is being sponsored by the blue gallery people. Take a good look at this. The red one, by the way, are the paintings from the gallery. Next. This is even more exciting or interesting because these are actually functional MRI studies done. And you can see over there is the neural responses for the sponsoring effect of the gallery blue. And you can see the red over there in the graph, those are the ones from the gallery. And here the neural activity related to painting preference, if you click another one, it will tell us that what you're saying, click please, result increased brain activity related to pleasure, especially the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, responsible for higher order thinking, association, and meaning. That's in the brains of the people who were told the blue gallery is the one sponsoring. The same way, even with just a computer and shown them. So next slide. Okay. The next slide is even much more, something we should think about. This is another article that came from Sloan Kettering again in the Cancer Center in New York. And the question of this paper is, it's a systematic analysis kind of thing. Do doctors prescribe more of a drug if they receive money from the drug company? Results unanimous. All 37 studies showed that accepting industry money, click, increases prescribing and consistent across all medical specialties and types of drugs. Next, leads MDs to prescribe expensive, worthless drugs. We're talking about the United States, huh? There may be some cultural thing here, but listen to this because this is important. What they did, contribute to rising healthcare costs. Next. Majority of the MDs actually in this paper believe that accepting industry payment is appropriate. Next. MDs to learn about new drugs actually ask the industry to bring in the slide decks from which they are able to supposedly learn. Recognize now that drug companies are like us. They fudge their data as well and can be biased that way. Several studies clearly show a causal effect that MDs who accept the most cash. Okay. Conclusion. This is actually in the article itself at the conclusion. Accepting industry money can no longer be rationalized as beneficial. MDs take an oath to work in their patients' best interests. The problem we must now confront is that, of the evidence, majority of the evidence suggests industry payments run counter to what is best for our patients. A ban on industry payments to MDs seems drastic, but it is the only way, it says. Next. So far, what have we been talking about? Cost benefit, which is not what affects us when we lie, that 10 to 15%. But cost benefit is there when we begin to go up higher in our ability to be dishonest. The next question then is, how about effects of a nation's culture? Because there's ethics and there's culture, as Dr. Payawal talked about. So, they did the matrix test across the United States, Canada, England, Italy, and all the way to the Middle East and to China. And in all of those, the cheating was about equal, 10 to 15%. Okay? How do we explain these figures? Filipinos are basically very religious, and I love it. We are good that way. And yet, in the Transparency International Corruption Program that was started in 1975, as of 2020, we ranked in close to the lowest one-third of 180 countries. And in 2021, last year, we went even lower to 117 of the 180 countries. So I'm going to pose it, what I feel is a complex cultural context that make us do this. Next, please. I'm giving you the history of the Philippines in one slide. We were colonized by the Spaniards in 333 years, by the Americans in 48, a total of 381 years. That's just what, 19 years short of 400 years colonized. Our colonizers, especially the Spaniards, they grabbed our lands. We owned it, but they grabbed it, and so it's now under the names, very Spanish-sounding names. Then they enriched and entitled dishonest. They did not pay the taxes. Instead, we natives, we were called Indios. We were not called Filipinos. They were the Filipinos. We paid the taxes, and we worked like their slaves. If you have that, I believe you can get a cultural inferiority complex of our own worth. But when enriched and empowered, unfortunately, we also follow the entitled, dishonest colonizers. Next. So let's be thankful because we have so many things going for us. God has blessed us Filipinos with a high intelligence and an English that is envied by everybody else in Southeast Asia, in Asia. We speak well, we research well, we write well, we debate well. And because of our religious upbringing, unlike many of our American colleagues and counterparts, religious upbringing makes us develop a right brain. So we are creative, artistic. Many doctors sing like her. She has a beautiful voice, play guitars, play the piano, strum. We're all creative, artistic, and compassionate. Not only that, we keep winning in Miss Universe contests or whatever, right? So let's now really declare independence from this kind of complex that makes us, when we become superior, because as doctors and as what you have now been inducted into, you are top of the level where you are. You are an amazing person. Lots of people look at you. Let's not do what our colonizers did, that when they went up, they continued to become, we also follow, becoming entitled and dishonest. So there. The next slide, oh wow, okay. This is my second to the last slide, by the way, if you're wondering. Reverend Father Fulton Sheen, who I respect very much in his writings, what he say? The refusal to take sides on great moral issues is itself a decision, and it is a silent acquiescence to evil. The tragedy of our time, he says, is that those who still believe in honesty lack fire and conviction, while those who believe in dishonesty are full of passionate conviction. So, respectful of what Reverend Father Sheen says about honesty and dishonesty, let's have the conviction to discuss conflict of interest of physicians and pharmaceutical companies, and to honestly address the conflicts so everyone wins. I promise you, we can be better physicians, even like Dr. Apayawal, we should be, and yet we will have drug companies that are also happy. but let's do it in a way that there is no conflict of interest at all. We remain interested mainly in the patient. They can also earn from it, and there are ways to do it. So, next slide. These are my honest leaders. She, because she gave a talk in Makati Medical last month on the battle for facts. She is, in fact, that. And of course, Jose Rizal, because he honestly went up to the Spaniards and told them, the culture you're giving my Filipino country is not the right way to do it. This happens to be the farm manager of my farm in Leyte that was mentioned by Hasmin. Totally honest. He was therefore elected twice by the Department of Agriculture as the Farmer Scientist of the Year of the Philippines. This is the last one. Remember the little boy that I said, let's see if he understands what I'm also talking about. He asked, did her talk inspire you on how to be the best version of yourself? Honestly. Thank you very much. And let's start.
Thank you very much, Dr. Veralio Rowell. Your words are exactly what we need to remind us of core values of PDS dermatologists. May we again call on the President, officers, and Board of Directors of the PDS who are present here today for the presentation of the Certificate of Appreciation and Token to Dr. Veralio Rowell. Again, we ask Dr. Rivera to take center stage. Again, a round of applause to everyone, especially for Dr. Veralio Rowell. Now we move on to the much awaited part of the program. May we request our President, Dr. Francisco D. Rivera IV, to please stay on center stage for the presentation of this year's candidates for induction and their oath taking. To present the candidates for induction, as diplomates, let us all welcome Dr. Julie Wong Pabico, a member of the Board of Examiners.
Good evening. It is my honor to be presenting the diplomate inductees of the Philippine Board of Dermatology for 2022 on behalf of our Chair of the Board of Examiners, Dr. Angela Tomacruz Kumagun. But before I proceed with the presentation of inductees for diplomates, let me call the members of the Board of Examiners for 2021 and 2022 who are physically present here tonight. Please join me on the stage, Dr. Maria Cristina Filomena Batak and Dr. Tanya Angela Perez Chua. Okay. The title of diplomate is given to a PDS applicant who has finished 3 years of residency training in an accredited PDS institution and has successfully passed the PDS written, practical, and oral examinations. This year, we have 55 successful examinees. Congratulations. So, Mr. President, may I present to you the candidates for diplomate status for 2022. Diplomate inductees, please rise. Okay, we will start. Let's start with from East Avenue Medical Center, chaired by Maria Angela M. Lavadia, with training officer Dr. Elizabeth Prieto, represented by the Assistant Training Officer Dr. Maria Francesca Quino. Let's call on Dr. Roslia Alfaro Oaminal. Dr. Tanya Patricia Alias. Dr. Jemmy P. David. Dr. Precious Imam. And Dr. Donilyn G. Priela. Okay, so. Okay, next. From Jose R. Reyes Memorial Medical Center, chaired by Dr. Maria Flordelis Abad Casintahan, with training officer Dr. Zarla Gulmatico Flores. Okay, let's call on Dr. Elisa Bien J. Anupol. Dr. Clarice Isabel S. Garcia. Dr. Patrick B. Lansangan. Dr. Roxanne Jillian Mauleon. Dr. Matilde Krisha P. Montenegro. Dr. Melissa Joy F. Ong. Dr. Bless Noel Serkinia. And Dr. Zarina S. Valcos. Next will be from Makati Medical Center, chaired by Dr. Elsie Reynosa Floreza, with Training Officer Dr. Patricia Ann Tino, represented by Dr. Julie Ann Patricia Songko. Okay, let's call on Dr. Frances Stacy R. Gaston, Dr. Philip Cedric L. Lorena, Dr. Marian Caridad Soledad R. Macapagal, and Dr. Katrina Marie A. Torno. Okay. From Ospital ng Maynila Medical Center, chaired by Dr. Benedict Carpio, and with Training Officer Dr. Eileen Regalado Morales. Let's call Dr. Rafael M. Mungkal, Dr. Kathleen S. Onya, Dr. Cara Angela E. Sason, Dr. Paula Sesca C. Ventanilla, and Mitchell U. Eke. From Region 1 Medical Center, chaired by Dr. May F. Gonzalez, with Training Officer Dr. Maria Aurora Teresa Hortaleza Rosario. Let's call Dr. Maria Roma Gonzalez, and Dr. Marites P. Macaraeg. Next. From Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, chaired by Dr. Lailani R. Senador, with Training Officer Dr. Clarice G. Mendoza. Let's call on Dr. Katrina Rose G. Baluyot. Dr. Nell Muriel B. Lee. Dr. Sarah E. Nain Bayot. Dr. Marie Lorenz M. Racadio. Dr. Jolan A. San Juan. Dr. Danica Grace R. Tumul. And Dr. Francis Joseph G. Villanueva. Congratulations. Next, from Rizal Medical Center, chaired by Dr. Francisco D. Rivera IV, with Training Officer Dr. Maria Caterina Lat Herin. Let's call on Dr. Micah Kirsten O. Agon. Next, Dr. Erica Kim R. Chan. Dr. Luisa Marie S. Cruz. Dr. Christine E. Deguia. And Dr. Camille Clarice S. Mundin. Congratulations. From the Skin and Cancer Foundation Incorporated, chaired by Dr. Vermen M. Veralio Roll, with Training Officer Dr. Maria Hasmin J. Hamora. Let's call on Dr. Princess Sinia Agduma, Dr. Aislinn Ann J. Robledo, Dr. Mikiko L. Yamanaka, and Dr. Joan Marie L. Zulaybar. Congratulations. Okay, next. From St. Luke's Medical Center, chaired by Dr. Cynthia Suriaco Tan, represented by the Assistant Chair, Dr. Rica Malyari, with Training Officer, Dr. Natividad Sandra D. Chua. So let's call on Dr. Elaine Melody T. Ko, Dr. Felina Joyce P. D. Dr. Sher Claranza O. Liquido. Okay, that's it. Congratulations. Next, Let's have from the Southern Philippines Medical Center, chaired by Dr. Mary Jo Christine S. Bunagan, and Training Officer Dr. Claribel L. Jimenez. Let's call Dr. Zacharia B. Pario Jr. and Dr. Jen Cristina Lourdes Q. Segovia. Congratulations. From the University of the East, Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Medical Center, chaired by Dr. Camille B. Angeles, with Training Officer Dr. Lian Hami Sola. Let's call Dr. Nadine Elizabeth V. Romano, and Dr. Elaine R. Tabayoyong. Congratulations. From the University of the Philippines, Philippine General Hospital, chaired by Dr. Eileen Lizelle A. Cubilian, with Training Officer Dr. Claudine Yap Silva. Let's call on Dr. Erica Mary Therese R.D. Dr. Raisa Celine Rojas Rosete. Daming fans. Dr. Diane Catherine R. Salazar Paras. Dr. Cyrene Siriacotan. And Dr. Nicole Marella G. Tan. Congratulations. from the University of Santo Tomas Hospital, chaired by Dr. Eleanor L. Letran, with training officer Dr. Bernadita O. Policarpio. Let us call Dr. Marie Denise R. Fernandez Vergara. Dr. Mary Grace R. Rivero Zalamea. And Dr. Veronica Therese L. Villanueva. Congratulations.
May we all ask the diplomate inductees to please rise for the oath taking, to be administered by our President, Dr. Francisco Rivera IV.
Okay. To our new diplomates, please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I, Dr. Diplomate of the Philippine Board of Dermatology, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the Constitution and bylaws of the Philippine Dermatological Society. I will continuously upgrade my knowledge through continuing medical education and research, and unselfishly offer my services to the underprivileged. I will, to the best of my ability, protect, preserve, and uphold the goals of the Philippine Dermatological Society. I impose these responsibilities upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of reason. So help me God. By the power vested in me as President of the Philippine Dermatological Society, I confer upon you the title of diplomate, having successfully passed the Philippine Board of Dermatology examination given the 6th day of October 2022.
You now may take your seats, our dearest diplomates.
Congratulations to our diplomates. By the way, your PDS identification card is also enclosed in your certificate envelope. Again, congratulations. So the past year was still very challenging, but as always, having that indomitable PDS spirit, all of you have proven that you are made of tougher stuff. Congratulations again to our newly inducted diplomates. We now proceed to the induction of our new fellows. Presenting the new batch of fellow inductees is the chair of the membership committee, Dr. Katrina Carmela Marie M. Belen.
Thank you, Dr. Alvarado. The title of Fellow is given to a PDS diplomat who has experienced at least 2 years of ethical dermatological practice in a community or hospital setting in the Philippines, with recommendations from 2 PDS Fellows of good standing. This year, we have 40 qualified applicants for Fellow status. Mr. President, may I present to you the candidates for the status of Fellow. Fellow inductees, please rise. Dr. Ana Cecilia Francesca Alvarez. Dr. Therese Monet Aquino. Dr. Andrea Marie Bernales Mendoza. Dr. Mary Grace Ann Calvarido. Dr. Marie Len Kamaklang Balmores. Dr. Katrina Canlas Estrella. Dr. Leia Antoinette Caro Chang. Dr. Catherine Ann Sembrano. Dr. Cara Lynn Chia. Dr. Maria Vina Crisostomo. Dr. Janelle Christine Cuaso Tan. Dr. Cherry Lynn De La Senia. Dr. Maria Rosa Nuliza Encarnacion. Dr. Rainier Galutera. Dr. Rahina Galvez. Dr. Mia Katrina Hervasio. Dr. Janelle Go. Dr. Maria Cristina Corazon Gonzalez. Dr. Maria Cristina Gulfan. Dr. Lauren Margaret Howe. Dr. Hazel Howe D. Dr. Maria Corazon Iniego Rodas. Dr. Fatima Jacinto Kalimag. Dr. Margaret Stephanie Jimenez. Dr. Diana Marie Lazaro Nice. Dr. Felix Paulo Lizarondo, Dr. Joe Faustine Manzano, Dr. Joanne Kate Milana Martinez, Dr. Riza Milante, Dr. Patricia Nashanseno, Dr. Beverly Ong Amoranto, Dr. Roy Lawrence Paredes, Dr. Maria Nina Fajardo Pascasio, Dr. Patricia Angelica Pastrana Mabanta, Dr. Marie Claudine Francesca Perlas, Dr. Tanya Ramas Uipiching Reyes, Dr. Eunice K. Rayos Lopez, Dr. Reagan Gray Reyes, Dr. Angeli Eloise Torres Paulino, and Dr. Camelia Faye Tuason.
May we ask all the fellow inductees to please rise for the oath taking, to be administered by our President, Dr. Francisco Rivera IV.
To our new fellows, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Doctor, Fellow of the Philippine Dermatological Society, upon meeting the requirements of the PDS, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the Constitution and bylaws of the Philippine Dermatological Society. I will continuously upgrade my knowledge through continuing medical education and research, and unselfishly offer my services to the underprivileged. I will, to the best of my ability, protect, preserve, and uphold the goals of the Philippine Dermatological Society. I impose these responsibilities upon myself voluntarily without mental reservation or purpose of reason. So help me God. So by the power vested in me as President of the Philippine Dermatological Society, I confer upon you the title of Fellow given this 6th day of October 2022.
The inducted fellows may now take their seats. May we ask the PDS board members to please join Dr. Rivera on stage for the next part of the program.
At this point, we are proceeding with the presentation of life members. It is my honor to present 9 PDS life members who have served the society for at least 20 years and have reached the age of 65. They are now life members who shall enjoy the privileges of being one. May I request all life member inductees to stand and be recognized. Congratulations to Dr. Josefina Mata, Life Fellow. Dr. Edna Nise, Life Fellow. Dr. Grace Serquinia, Life Fellow. The rest of our life members opted to attend virtually. Dr. Reynaldo Ugalde, Life Fellow. Dr. Joni Claire Sibayan, Life Fellow. Dr. Maria Lucila Valdez, Life Fellow. Dr. Imelda Villar, Life Fellow. Dr. Maria Elena Wong, Life Fellow. And Dr. Carilina Adaw, Life Associate. Congratulations once again to our fellows and life members. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Belen. Congratulations to all our new PDS fellows and life members this year. We are happy for your continuous growth and contributions in elevating Philippine dermatology. Let us now hear the response of inductees to be delivered by this year's PDS Board Top-Notcher, Dr. Christine E. De Guia from Rizal Medical Center.
Hey, good evening. I'm going to stay away from the podium because I also aspire to be like Dr. Veralio. So I hope that's okay with everyone. Good evening. Good evening to the Philippine Dermatological Society, Board of Directors, Officers, Board of Examiners, Membership Committee, Advisory Council, the Chairman and the Training Officers, to our esteemed guest of honors, the Presidents of the Philippine College of Physicians and Philippine Medical Association, to our esteemed, of course, inspirational speaker, to the fellows and the diplomats, to all our families and friends, a very pleasant evening to everyone. It is truly an honor to be standing before all of you tonight, representing all my fellow inductees on such a memorable occasion. So speeches usually begin with a thank you, because really, no man is an island, and we would not be here celebrating our being inducted without so much help from other people. So, a very big thank you, first to the PDS, for setting that standard of excellence that drove us to become excellent ourselves, to our respective institutions and all the consultants, co-residents, and staff that we worked with, and who helped train us to become diplomats. And of course, thank you to our families and friends for supporting and believing in us, and for being on the receiving end of all of our stress during your training. Our deepest and most heartfelt thank you. Of course, we never would have gotten here without a multitude of people helping and supporting us. But undoubtedly, no matter how much help is given, we also would have never made it if we didn't have it in ourselves. If we didn't have the grit and the tenacity to go through the grind of residency and work hard day in and day out for the past 3.5 years. So through the PDS, through our own institutions and departments, through our families and friends, and finally, through our own perseverance, we have achieved what we set out to do since our first day of residency. We are officially board-certified dermatologists. What an amazing feeling. Today is a culmination of what we have been working towards for so long. And right now, we are exactly where we wanted to be more than 3 years ago. When I think about how it began, I still find it hard to believe. Applying to one of the most competitive specialties in the country felt so daunting at the time. And just being accepted already felt like such an astounding feat. But then, what came after was no walk in the park, because residency was even tougher, with all of the exams, grand rounds, research, so many lectures, and having to study all those diseases that I had never heard of before. Is it just me? But then, when it was over, there was again that feeling that I had accomplished such an amazing feat. But then, the board exams. People have this misconception that because I topped it, I found it easy. But let me tell you, and I hope my fellow inductees will agree with me, that it was such a struggle, especially the oral exams. But we made it, and now here we are, officially board certified, officially diplomats of the PDS. What an astounding feat. But just like before, I know, we all know, that something will definitely come next. At this point, after having achieved our dreams, I know we're still not done dreaming yet. We are all at our own personal crossroads. And I know we all have our own vision of what the future should look like. Private practice, successful business, having a happy family, being well-respected educators, or maybe even future PDS officer. Maybe you're someone who already has their vision, that perfect vision of your future in your head. Or maybe you're like me and aren't 100% sure of what that future looks like just yet. But more important than dreaming for ourselves is that we need to keep working to get there. Because dreams alone don't get us to where we want to be. We have to do. Shonda Rhimes, yes, Shonda, she speaks the truth when she said, "Ditch the dream and be a doer." Maybe you know exactly what it is you dream of being, or maybe you have no idea what to do because you don't know what your passion is. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. You don't have to know. You just have to keep moving forward. You just have to keep doing something. seizing the next opportunity, and staying open to trying something new. And it doesn't have to fit your vision of the perfect job or the perfect life, because perfect is boring and dreams aren't real. So just do. And it's true, because we didn't get to where we are today by being dreamers, but by being doers. Whether or not we know what we're passionate about or what the future holds for us, we just have to keep doing what we can and staying open to new opportunities and experiences. Even if it doesn't exactly fit what we had in mind in the first place, we never know where it might lead us, maybe to something even better. Look back to when we were applying for residency and just dreaming about being accepted. When we got there, it wasn't perfect. In fact, it was far from perfect. But we kept working, we kept doing, and look where we are now. There were jobs in residency that we never thought we'd have to do. Sometimes we did not want to do, but we did them anyway. And all of that helped us grow, presented new opportunities for us, and maybe even made us realize that we had a passion for something that we never had before. Perhaps this next chapter in our lives will be just like that. Even if we have now achieved that dream of getting that very coveted DPDS status, the road that awaits us will still not be perfect. It will probably never be perfect, not in the way that we imagine it to be. There will still be struggle and uncertainty. But just like during the pandemic, even though things weren't ideal, we kept on going, we continued our training. And now we must also keep moving forward, keep on doing. And maybe in this way, we find that we don't have to achieve perfection, that maybe all we need is a sense of fulfillment in doing what we love and knowing that in our own small ways, we're making this world just a little bit better. Whether that's through private practice, successful business, becoming an educator, going into research, or maybe even trying to do a little bit of all of that. With everything that the PDS has built, there are so many opportunities and possibilities. And we are very fortunate to be part of a society that allows us to be more and to do more. Making this speech as the representative of all the inductees wasn't easy, because I don't know what everyone here has gone through in their own institutions. I don't know your individual struggles, experiences, accomplishments, or dreams. I'm sure there are many, and I'm sure everyone has their own stories to tell. But I do know this. All of us have gone through the painfully high standards of PDS training and passed. So I know that we are all capable of amazing things. And I look forward to the day that each of our dreams come into fruition. And I hope that when this happens, we find not perfection, but fulfillment, happiness, and a world that was better than when we found it. So to all my fellow inductees and to everyone who helped us get here, congratulations. Thank you very much, and good evening.
Our heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Digia and all the inductees. We have now come to the end of this year's induction ceremonies. And to formally close tonight's event, we have a recorded video message from none other than the Vice President of the Philippine Dermatological Society, Dr. Noemi Salta Ramos.
Good evening. Before anything else, I would like to express my sincere apologies for not being able to join you physically in this very important and joyful celebration. As we come to the end of this momentous event, I would like to acknowledge the diligent efforts of our dear colleagues who made all this possible. Thank you to the hardworking members of the Socials Committee, the Membership Committee, and the Board of Examiners. We know fully well the challenges that you have encountered and surmounted in order to bring this evening into fruition, all for the love of the PDS. From the bottom of our hearts, maraming salamat sa inyo. Thank you to our honorable guests who are both personally dear to me, Philippine Medical Association President Dr. Minerva Kalimag and Philippine College of Physicians President Dr. Diana Payawal. We continue to take pride in being the only dermatology specialty society recognized by both the PMA and the PCP. And your presence made this event truly more special and memorable for all of us. And to our inspirational speaker, our very own past president, Dr. Vermen Veralio Roel, thank you for your enduring passion in dermatology that have inspired and continue to inspire all of us. You are our paradigm of a true derm authority. To the mentors, family, and friends of our inductees, thank you for joining us tonight, physically or virtually. We share your pride and joy as we witness the fulfillment of the dream of our beloved diplomates and fellows. Finally, I would like to congratulate and commend our inductees. To our new diplomates, we praise you for your courage and resilience in facing the challenges of residency in the midst of the pandemic. Thank you for your selfless service to our patients. Thank you for choosing not to give up, for choosing to continue to become board certified dermatologists and be part of the PDS family. To our new fellows, best wishes on the new chapter of your PDS journey. I would like to end by sharing my wish for everyone, but most especially for our inductees. May you always have the courage to continue dreaming and the humility to continue learning. Continue to soar higher, derm authorities.
Thank you, Dr. Ramos. We will close tonight's program with the PDS hymn, which is the perfect expression of our society's credo, that we can make a difference in our lives and in our community. I'm Dr. Francesca C. Alvarado of the PDS Socials Committee. We hope you've had a great time and thank you for joining us tonight.
Please all rise and let us all proudly sing the Philippine Dermatological Society's hymn.